Hi, my name is Tara, and I'm going to give you a full recap and full review of Leangap, which is an incubator startup program for high school students. So I did the online version in the summer of 2024. It was 4 weeks with 2 weeks of pre-work and get to know you activities. This video will be split into roughly 4 sections, with each section focusing on a specific week and general tips my team followed that actually allowed them to get most outstanding company by the end of the 4th week, and then also what we did and the content of those weeks. So also just in general, Leangap is very different from other programs because literally right off the bat, you were launched into the real world, and literally on the first day, you're giving pitches to people and selecting an idea, and then selecting your own team the second day. So Leangap is fast paced, but it is worth it in the end. And one thing that I really value is just Leangap's honesty and just being real, because what makes it different from other programs is that all the mentors, all the people are here to help you, and they help you without sugarcoating it. They are just real. They tell you what you need to know, what you need to change, without trying not to offend you, because what's really important is that you are getting these main points and this honesty from people who are successful in their fields and then applying it to yourself. Other than that, the mentors are amazing. They're fun to talk to. They join game night. They're also really knowledgeable. And then the community is amazing. So for the online program, we have a Discord. People are always chatting, playing games and stuff like that. So just reach out as much as possible and really take advantage of the program. But now we actually get into section 1, which is week 1. In week 1, unlike most courses, which just contain introductory material and get to know you activities, we already had that in the pre-orientation, so we did a little bit of that, but also right away we were okay, we have to get to work, we're launching our startup. So we had fun games, but then also we were working directly on our startup. Day 1, I think, was just more of that introductory material, but then day 2 was where it really got serious, because every single person in the program, to start off with, gave a pitch to the entire program, and then at the end people voted for 5 or 6 ideas that they felt had the most potential, and then those ideas became the actual companies that each group would work on. The people that got selected, they were called the idea pitchers. And then these idea pitchers would talk in the Discord, there were little voice channels for each idea pitcher, and they would talk with people who were interested in their idea. And then based on that, you would fill out a Google form for who they wanted to work with. Based on that, the teams were selected. I was the idea pitcher. My idea ended up getting selected. And some general tips: if you have a good idea or an idea you're really passionate about and you want it to be the goal for your startup, first impressions are important, but they're not everything. So don't stress yourself out too much. But some general tips that I followed is that make your pitch something feasible, but then also go beyond the idea itself. Make sure that you have your idea, but then go beyond that and explain how specifically you could do this, and how you could actually form a scalable business, or just a business in general with this idea. I mean, you don't have to do extensive research or anything, but you should have a clear path on how this could actually be a business, not just a random idea. And then also in the formation of the pitch, just general tips I followed was a hook, going beyond the idea. So how I would put this business into practice, what exactly is the format, is it an app, and then also just trying to be as specific as possible within the 1 minute. Also in that first week, we had a speaker. The speaker series are really important and impactful, so we had a speaker talk about her experience as someone in the startup world, and she was a designer. She was actually the designer of emojis, which was really cool to see her impact and how all of us use emojis every single day. So we had a speaker series. We also, in general, were introduced to all the different parts of Leangap, such as the Discord, which was the primary communications channel, the point system where you can get points for your team, which will get you benefits in the end, and then also the boost budget, which is the money that Leangap funds, which can increase or decrease depending on your performance in the program. But that is not the end of week 1, because you also, after all the introductory stuff and pitches, you actually started, once you got your team formations, you actually started working on your product. So we focused on the why, which is what your company is looking to do. And this is really important. You want to start off strong and know clearly what your company's goal is. And then we also had validation. And then lastly, we actually got started on our MVP, our minimum viable product. This is the actual product. We actually got something out by the end of week 1 that was a product that could make money. So now we get into section 2. And this is definitely going to be way shorter than section 1, just because all of like the intro and like week 1 was definitely a very heavy week in terms of like content and getting straight into it. But for week 2, I want to stress game nights and games. Leangap Online hosts game nights, which are like virtual, obviously, where people come together, play online games with the mentors sometimes. And it's really important for you to involve yourself as much as you can, because sometimes they, like for me, they were at a tricky time, so I couldn't make some of them. But if you can, you should definitely just join for a little bit or for the whole time and bond, because the Leangap community is really, really important and you don't want to take that for granted. And then also week 2, we worked on landing pages, which is basically on a website. When you click somewhere, that page that opens up and like that like kind of sells the product indirectly to you. So we worked on those. Those are really important. And the biggest thing I learned there was to ask for feedback whenever you can. And you can't build a successful startup or be successful by yourself. So you have to ask for help from the mentors, and not just simple questions. Keep on asking them and like even pestering them, because they are here to help you and they will not care. They won't think you're annoying or anything like that, maybe a little, but you have to ask for feedback. That is the biggest thing. All right, now we get into section 3. So section 3, we actually get our first users, which is really exciting. And for the users, don't be afraid to use your personal network. It is not embarrassing to say that your mom was your first user, because using your personal network is actually one of the ways to get traction and to get money. That's important for your pitch, for your startup. Use your personal network, ask your friends, ask your family first, and then you can try and go for users that you don't know. And then also we had a group therapy session, which is basically we have a therapist who actually like is a certified therapist. So she's part of the Leangap team, and each group schedules a session with her just to talk about like their team dynamic, sort out any potential issues and conflicts, and also just like think more about their goals, everyone's goals in the program, like what everyone in the team can do to work more coherently and together. And this really, really helps. Just know that people also care about like the startup you're forming and that your team is all on the same page. So make sure you attend that. And then lastly, we were introduced to the pitch structure. So at the end of week 4, you pitch to judges and then they vote on most outstanding company, best pitch, and then most promising idea. I'll have to double check. So you're introduced to the pitch structure, and what's really important to note here is that you should try to follow the structure, but then also find ways to make your pitch unique, because the judges are going to be listening to like 6 pitches in a row that follow roughly the same structure that Leangap provides you, and you don't want them to get bored. Lastly, for week 4, so pitching practice is super important, because in the last week, you're kind of just focusing on public speaking skills and pitch skills. Pitching practice is important, and then also getting feedback on your actual pitch and its structure, that's also really important. I know our team asked a variety of mentors and even students on what they thought, and then made edits and changes based on that. And that really helped us and let us get most outstanding company. Also practice as a team with your videos on and how you would actually do it, because just that repetition is really, really important. Something else that helped our team is to practice and think about questions ahead of time, because the judges, chances are the questions you have about your own company are sometimes the questions that the judges have too. And the judges will ask some high-level questions, so it's a good idea to think about those ahead of time, and even if they aren't the exact same ones, it'll help you be more prepared on demo day. Lastly, use your strongest speakers, because you got to pick who speaks. So I would just recommend using the people who want to pitch their idea and who are just stronger in public speaking, because this will help get your company more clearly across. And then you could also win Best Pitched. Lastly, to finish off with some general tips. Number 1 is something that a lot of teams didn't do, but our team did, and it's to use your boost budget. So your boost budget is the money Leangap gives you to help progress your company. And it doesn't seem like a lot at the beginning, but it is a lot, and you can do so much with it, so make sure that you use it. Also, ask for help as soon as possible. Do not try to do things on your own, because then what happens is you make a mistake or you don't do something the right way, then you have to spend more time fixing it than if you would have just asked for help. Lastly, points are easy to get. They don't have to be a priority, because most teams didn't end up buying anything with the points, but they're easy to get, and you should definitely go for it because they're easy to get. And then use the Discord, use chats, be active in the community, and then make friends with the other teams. They can help you, and you want to have a connection outside of your team. That I know that helped us. And then just lastly, have fun and enjoy the program, because it passes by really, really fast. So overall, I hope this video helped you learn more about Leangap and gave you some tips if you choose to do the program and apply. I would really, really recommend applying. It's 100% worth it. The community is amazing. I know I learned so much from it, and for the first time ever, I launched something into the real world. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.